Wait a minute. May I actually have it? More copies of new releases than ever before. What's going on around here, huh? Go home happy.
Hello, physical media fiends and pop culture pussies. Oh my God, I really should have come up with a better intro for that. Welcome to BrainBuster Video, the podcast. This is our audio platform to discuss dead media, popular culture, film, and much more. I'm your host and general manager of this store, Zach Romero, and for the first episode, we're going to be delving into a strange and wonderful odyssey, the newest So Bad It's Good film, Tommy Wiseau's Big Shark. Now, before we begin, and before I bring on my guest to co-host with me, the story of Big Shark for me actually starts with a meet and greet double feature down here in the state of Florida. So, towards the beginning of the year, co-star of the infamous film The Room, Greg Sestero, came down to Florida and held a double feature of The Room and Big Shark and did a little bit of a meet and greet. And so my wife and some friends of ours went down there to this theater and got to watch Big Shark and got to talk and really kind of shoot the shit with Greg Sestero, which was incredible. The man is absolutely a gentleman. And so before the showing of Big Shark, Greg actually spoke with us a little bit about how the film came to be and what the whole saga of it was. And so I have a little snippet of him talking to us and basically giving us a foreboding warning about Big Shark as a film.
That night we're filming in Lafayette, Louisiana in this bar, and the whole script is me getting slapped by these girls. And then a big shark appears and attacks in the streets of New Orleans. And so we filmed for a couple nights, and then I thought, okay, I'm done with that. And then he released this like mock teaser, and everyone went nuts for it. People were printing all these articles, People Magazine, guys from the room making shark movie. I'm like, no, we're not. Don't print it. And the more I tried to stop it, the more it kept coming. So then Tommy said, okay, now we have to make a movie. You'll disappoint people. And then COVID happened, and I'm like, okay, that's the end of that. 2 weeks into COVID, he calls. He's like, so when are we making a movie? I'm like, oh, we can't. He's like, says who? We have to write script. So on and off during COVID, I would help him like write script, like over the phone. He'd dictate ideas, some insane stuff you guys are gonna see. And so then I ended up like getting COVID later, like unexpectedly, and then he's like, we have to start shooting next week. And I'm like, during the middle of this? No way. So anyway, he ended up going and making the film. So I helped like indirectly like write and produce it, but I want you guys to pay close attention to the sound and the score.
So, that being said, we experienced Big Shark. It changes our brain pattern forever. And so a few months later, the same theater in Florida was playing another showcasing of Big Shark. So, a guest who's going to be on here just a minute to talk with me, and I and a bunch of our ragtag friends we could pull together all went back there to watch it again. And so we're going to sit down here and really discuss what our takeaways were from a second viewing of this very, very strange film. And so without further ado, please welcome onto the show for the first time, because this is the first episode, the store manager of BrainBuster Video, my wife, and the head artist at She-Wolf Media herself, Miss Luna Lynn. Round of applause for Luna. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And so, without further ado, let's talk about what was occupying our brains as soon as we exited Big Shark for the second time.
It's better than Jaws, some people say.
Many people say.
Many people.
And we got to see it at a somewhat full house at the beautiful historic Sunray Cinema in Tampa, Florida. So let's try to start by explaining what the fuck is going on with this movie.
I don't know that the movie knows what's going on with the movie, but we can try.
Great point. So the film was made in 2020 during COVID. It is
filmed on location in beautiful New Orleans.
And is seemingly, I would say, 90% improv in terms of both dialogue and maybe scripting.
Yeah, the scripting is sort of like, okay, so a script to this film is flavor to LaCroix. Somebody waved it vaguely in the vicinity of the movie, but we didn't really, get it. Yeah, we didn't really commit.
So the film is almost 2 hours long
Painfully.
and is, to put it very lightly, a beautiful disaster. Just nonsensical. Scenes do not really transition into one another.
Scenes duplicate themselves in
This is true.
both dialogue and in location, because sometimes, yeah, we're very clearly doing another take, but whoever quote-unquote edited the film, and I use that in the loosest of terms, decided to leave both takes in.
Why choose? Why choose if you don't
It
have
was
to?
so nice, we said it twice.
Yes. So, the story, if there is one, is Tommy Wiseau plays Patrick. He, along with 2 firefighting buddies, are the local heroes of a town in New Orleans. And without warning, a 35-foot great white shark, which sometimes balloons to, I don't know, 5 or 10 skyscrapers.
Kaiju proportions.
Yeah. Godzilla proportion shark at certain times. Comes to town and begins terrorizing and eating up the locals. And so Tommy Wiseau and his 2 firefighting buddies have to come together to kill the shark and save New Orleans, save
They have a plan, first of
whatever
all.
their town is called, and save the West Bank. Boy, oh boy, really wild. So obviously we've seen The Room. We've watched some of other Tommy Wiseau's weird little projects and things like that. How does Big Shark rank among Tommy Wiseau projects for you?
That's a toughie. I mean, I feel like because The Room was first, like that will always hold a special spot because it's everybody's introduction to this absolute like nightmare world that we're living in. Because clearly it's just Tommy's world and we exist. Where he's playing The Sims, we're just vibing.
That's
yeah.
great for you.
So I feel like The Room will always hold top spot just because it was that first, like, oh my god, what is happening? But honestly, for me, Big Shark takes a solid number 2.
Oh, it does. It certainly does.
It sure does, yeah. Literally, figuratively, emotionally, spiritually. But it is one of those that is so... It's peak tier in terms of the insanity and the, like, what the fuck is going on? But it's also peak tier in terms of, like, he really thought he was doing something with this.
There is a certain level of confidence. So I actually think it
and
shares...
very earnest.
It shares a lot of DNA with The Room in terms of it is a man who is flying through a project basically just off of confidence that he's got this figured out. And much like how The Room had this weird smattering of technology in terms of him duct taping, you know, the digital HD camera to a regular film camera, the green screen rooftop that Denny gets attacked on. You know, there are weird glimpses of technology used throughout The Room. This has the same thing of like, Tommy Wiseau figured out that you can drag and drop CGI assets.
Exactly.
And so this I think this really sets that apart. I also think it's interesting that Tommy kind of set his sights on not doing like, I'm going to do a comedy or, I'm going to do a drama. Instead, it was, I'm going to be Michael Bay. Like, that's kind of what this is. Of like, I'm going to do this big, bombastic blockbuster. But it's still that same completely fumbling, weird, almost like an alien. It's like watching an alien trying to be a human. And not just in Tommy. It's because Tommy is also moving all the parts. So like when Tommy's girlfriend goes to the hat store to buy him hats, the whole transaction is very weird, even though it's just like a random person who probably worked at that store who was like, it's free publicity or whatever. But the interaction feels so weird. So Sophia and whatever the other girlfriend is called are wearing like wintry kind of jackets. They come up off the street, they walk into this hat store. They both go, it feels great in here. And they take off the jackets and then they go, it's been really warm out lately.
Yeah, then why are you wearing jackets? And then later in the film, you can clearly tell that it's freezing outside because you can see their breath.
Oh, right, yes.
So like whenever they were actually filming, probably genuinely fucking cold.
Yeah.
But then there's other moments where it's like, well, is it? And you can never tell by Tommy because he's always wearing 4 layers of clothing.
Well, he's either wearing 4 layers or no layers. He's either wearing like way too many jackets or he's just wearing a tank top.
And 3 belts.
And 3 belts.
Yeah.
And sunglasses and gloves.
Yeah,
and
always gloves.
And like when the captain is telling the boys like, oh, you gotta get, the army's not coming to save us.
His ass off.
Right. But he's still saying crazy shit. Like he's still saying shit that you're like, what?
Yeah, because the idea is somehow these hometown hero firefighters are the only ones smart enough and capable enough to hunt and kill this shark that is killing people in New Orleans. So the firefighter chief, I don't want to keep wanting to say police chief, but he's not, firefighter chief, keeps telling them that like, oh, we called like the military and like the Navy and they can't make it in time, guys. So it's up to you 3 individual men.
Yeah, it's apparently a fire station of only 3 men.
Kill this giant shark. And you're like, we don't have like a Coast Guard. Like we don't have big fishermen. Like we don't have anybody else that could be involved in this.
A seemingly magical homeless man.
Oh yeah.
Who shows up in one scene and gives them a map that gives them the location of where the big shark hangs out.
The breeding ground?
The breeding ground. And how does he know it's a breeding ground? Because that's where the homeless man was born. In the brackish water. We've been watching a lot of Dropout over the last year, and this truly feels like the Bizarro Dropout.
Yeah, this is the Wario of Dropout.
It is the Wario of Dropout. It is improv scene after improv scene, and no one is great at improv.
No.
Like, there's a scene that, again, this is just going to sound like random shit pulled out of a hat, but that really is how it feels. There's a scene where, randomly, Tommy and his girlfriend have a big fight. We don't know why.
Yeah, there's no context given as to why we're fighting. Mm-hmm.
And so she is throwing Tommy's clothes from the 2nd story window. And it almost feels like this is Tommy, just like in The Room, wanting to be James Dean. This feels like this is Tommy wanting to be Marlon Brando in Streetcar Named Desire.
Oh, God, that's true. I didn't put that together.
Stella, moment.
Yeah, but instead he's hopping up and down, yelling, Sophia, no! And like a toddler.
Yes.
That's genuinely the vibe, is that as soon as he starts jumping, you're like, oh, it's like a 3-year-old tantrum. Oh, boy. But instead, because I don't want to just rehash every scene, because one, you're not gonna believe us unless you've seen it.
That's true.
Because it sounds fucking insane. But the bigger picture is that the film is made up of scenes that were all filmed independently.
Essentially, yeah.
That do not go together.
Yeah, every scene is kind of just in a bubble.
You have no clue what time it is at any given point of day, because at one point there is a, hey, good morning, but we're both having beers. Then we will jump cut to a scene at night, and then we jump cut to a scene during the afternoon, and then we jump cut to another scene of them, and you're like, what? How? We have no clue how long this movie has taken place, because there is no sense of urgency from anybody.
There is a character who dies in the film, and we then have a memorial for them within 6 minutes of runtime, and we have no idea how long it's been. Like, we don't know if it's been a week. We don't know if it's been 15 minutes.
Was it the next day? Like, no.
And I don't mean that in the sense of like, oh no, this character died, and then we snap cut to it's their funeral, and we've assumed that time has passed.
You know, they're just at a bar.
And then next thing you know, there's a candlelight shrine left to this character, and you're like, where are we?
Because your brain goes, well, is that the next day? Like, you have no idea. Like, we'll have this whole, oh man, we gotta do it, we gotta kill this shark, and we jump cut to them playing pool.
This is true.
So do we have to kill the shark later? Like,
are we waiting at the clock?
Right, like we have to save New Orleans, we gotta save the world. But let's go to this restaurant real quick. Like, so, what? For
you, and again, this isn't going to make sense to anybody who's never seen Big Shark, which you can only see it while Greg Sestero is on tour in your local town.
Or, if you take a page out of our book and bully your local theater,
they may be able to get it.
They will play it.
What is the scene that is like the apex for you? Like, in terms of like the ridiculousness or like the most memorable scene for you?
God, that's hard.
Which scene occupies your brain is what I'm trying to ask.
I mean, all of it, honestly. The antithesis to me, like the absolute, oh my God, nobody knows what they're doing, is when the kid gets in the car.
Yes.
So, okay, one of the other fun things about the film, because again, all of these scenes were filmed with no intention to string them together. every time somebody gets into a vehicle, it is a different vehicle.
Is this true?
We have a vintage boat in the beginning that he claims he bought for the girlfriend, but she has no knowledge of. We have a white convertible, there's a Jeep, and a vintage, like, Ford truck. But every single time we get into a car, even if we were previously in the car in that scene, it is a different car.
Yes.
At one point, they are driving a very scared young adult teenager. It's like, oh man, you guys gotta help me. They're like, okay, cool, get in. Well, the doors are locked on the car, so the kid just jumps in the window.
Which, kudos to that actor.
Yeah,
Like,
because wow.
Kudos for, like, oh god.
The kid is clearly trying to, like, have this scene happen, and, like, is just having to drag everyone with him.
Which is wild. Yeah, he's having to drag the two leads of the film into a dramatic
It's like,
scene.
oh my god, the shark is right behind us. You guys gotta go fast. Oh man, like, I'm gonna try to shoot it. And Tommy's like, well, you can't shoot a shark. You're just gonna make it mad, and then it gets more powerful.
It does get more powerful.
How dare you touch his rifle? You can't just shoot a fucking shark, you idiot.
Yeah, so the thing that will make you feel like you've lost your mind is we are basically cutting back and forth between the back seat, which has the kid, the front seat, which has the two leads, and then outside of the car, which has a giant CGI shark chasing the car.
Yeah.
And so as far as the shark and the kid in the back are concerned, this is Jurassic Park. Yeah. This is the must go faster scene. But according to the two leads in the front, they are inconvenienced by
this. Is a Tuesday evening. We are joyriding. We are in the Big Easy. Like, what?
There's so much drinking and driving. But,
open containers.
But the thing that blows me away about that is, so, oh my God, they barely make it out. They get the kid home. The kid gets out of the car, is really putting on a performance there. He's like, I can't thank you guys enough. You've saved my life. If you guys ever need anything, let me know. And they're like, yeah, okay. And they start the car and go to drive away, and Tommy goes, what a loser. Why? Why?
Yeah, like, if you guys are hometown heroes, why would you shit on this kid that you just potentially
You're
saved?
supposed to be like three little firefighting Jesuses, and why would you? And by the way, the beginning of that scene, when the kid first jumps out in front of the car, goes, oh, you gotta stop the car. Tommy goes, don't stop. What the fuck?
Yeah, no, just kill this kid so we can go. Like, and it's stuff like that where the improv is so poorly improved that it, like, physically will hurt you. Like, you will feel it in your teeth because it's like that secondhand embarrassment of watching the worst conversation you've ever seen. And the other actors being so confused and trying so hard to just keep the scene going.
That is, you are 100% correct. The thing that dazzles me most is, you know, when in an improv setting, it is always yes and. Yes and, yes and. And Tommy, whenever he's involved, is so nonsensical and so from another planet. Having characters literally hit the brakes on the scene and go, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Is so jarring to see in an improv scene.
Yeah, because at one point he just starts yelling at one of the other leads, and the guy's like, what? Like, what are you...
Yeah,
what the fuck are you mad about? Like, why are you yelling? Like, out of absolute nowhere.
First time, right? And then it's like, Tommy goes, I'll never forgive you. And the guy goes,
for what?
For what? What are you talking about? And it's like, you can't even yes and that, because you're like, I don't understand where we're going with this. And the other one, when they go to the beach, the three firemen go to the beach at night to get the jump on Big Shark.
Yeah, they're going to put a tracker on the big shark so that they can track the big shark so that they can somehow try to kill the big shark.
Georgie goes, of course. We're here at night because that's when the sharks are sleeping. And Tommy decides that he's Bill Nye the Science Guy and is like, no, the sharks don't ever sleep. They don't ever sleep. And so, genuinely frustrated.
Then what are we doing?
Then what are we doing here? And I was like, I have never felt more for an actor in my life than in that moment of like, well, then what's the fucking justification? Why are we here at night then? If it's just as dangerous, then what's the fucking point?
Yeah, then why can we only do this at night?
It's so very, very bizarre. I will absolutely say without a doubt that it is a film to see either with friends or in a theater full of people.
Oh, yeah. A group setting makes this 1,000 times better because you're all sort of, like, living this fever dream together. So you're like, oh, I'm not crazy.
It's group hallucination.
Yeah, when in the beginning, it starts with a burning building because they're firefighters, and that's really the only reference of it.
We have to showcase that they're heroes.
So they go to save these children from a burning building, and the news anchor says that there are 3 children in the building, and then they go in and they save 2 children, and they're like, oh my god, thank god you saved those 2 children. And you're like, again, within like a 3-minute span, and you're like, did we just let one die? No.
There was only ever 2.
There was only 2.
So the first line of the film, where the character is looking down the barrel of the camera and saying there are 3 children, that was a lie. So hold on a second. Why don't we take a quick break and we'll come back and pick up our discussion of Tommy Wiseau's Big Shark. All right, tapeworms. So if you find yourself in a situation where you want to relive the glory days of VHS, then you need to go to BrainBuster.video to grab your very own copies of various classic titles, current titles, mixtapes. We are your best choice for retro conversion artists going today. So whether that be official releases like Killer Pinata or The Room, or it's some more under the radar, let's be cool about this and not involve the police type stuff, you should be going to brainbuster.video to pick up your merchandise or your new favorite new release today. And now, back to the show. I can get away with watching like episodes of Mystery Science Theater by myself and still enjoy it, even though that's one of those things that typically is like, oh, it's great in a group setting. But for Big Shark, I think if you just sat down and watched it by yourself, I think you'd either be just like so disoriented that you would like choke on your own tongue, or it would bounce off you completely. The group setting really does make the difference. And we got to see it with a great group tonight. Lots of friends, and it was a blast, and we had so much fun with it. And it was extra, I don't know about you, but it was extra special for me because there were things I remembered from the movie. So sitting in anticipation, like at one point there was a plan hatched that they're going to get several live pigs, kill them, put dynamite in them, and use them as bait to blow up the shark. We go to a farm, the butcher basically. We see a very extended scene of these 3 actors attempting to capture
genuinely trying to catch pigs, which is one of the funniest things, not intentionally funny things in the movie. Insane.
It's so rare nowadays because, you know, we're postmodern and sophisticated to just see wild shit on camera that you're like, none of this is okay. None of this is safe. And so these 3 not trained men just grabbing these animals and throwing them in the back of a truck. And so they get 3 live pigs. Great. They go to a second location. Why? They go to a different butcher. Why? And they decide that they need that butcher to kill these pigs. Okay. He goes, well, don't worry. I don't need to kill those pigs. I already have dead pigs. Oh, okay, great.
So they ask him, well, what do we do with the pigs? And he's like, again, the worst game of improv. I don't know. You could let them go, I guess.
Or keep them.
Or keep them, yeah. And so they decide that they're going to let the pigs go, but we never actually see that happen.
No. But what we do see is the 3 men carrying out an actual
giant carcass.
Dead carcass of a pig, dump it into the same truck bed, and all of the live pigs start screaming because they're still in the truck.
We gotta let you go, Trump. Come on, hey. Let's go, we gotta go. Let these pigs go. Weirdly good. Kill this shark.
As they should. If I'm sitting in the back of a truck and somebody just yeets a dead body in, like, I'm a little concerned.
Oh, 100%. But you would think in the magic of Hollywood, you would have gotten the pigs out. And so I knew that was coming. And I was so excited to just, like, see the reaction of everyone with that unbelievable punchline. That absolutely unintended punchline.
Well, and that is one of those things that I very much enjoy in settings like this, where somebody else finding something funny will automatically, like, make me laugh.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, I'm tickled by the fact that they think that this is hilarious, and, like, that makes me happy, because it's, like, obviously genuinely funny to me anyway. But that does definitely help the group setting of, like, somebody will get somebody, and you're like...
Something happened. Somebody was talking or something, and somebody in the front row was just dying, and I don't remember what it was, but there was some like dialogue scene, and somebody was just losing their mind.
Well, they probably had a delusional mind.
Well, that's true. They definitely had a delusional mind. Yeah, that's another weird thing in this. There are two phrases that just are repeated 1,000 times.
Which I almost want to Google because it sounds like he either wrote or read some sort of like a self-help article or something, because the two phrases that paid were that a character, somebody, because it said a lot, has a delusional mind, or that they are occupying their brain / mind. The two are kind of used interchangeably.
Right.
And because at one point in this scene where the two girls are going to pick up the hats for Tommy because he wears hats, he's a hat guy. The advice that Sophia is giving the other girl, which, bless her, can't remember her name, is, oh, well, you should try discipline, because that's what I do. What the fuck does that mean? Like, are you having a BDSM situation? Like,
the problem is, the other lady's boyfriend, Tim, is really just occupying her brain.
That's true. Oh, and that's my other favorite thing, is that throughout the film, obviously it's called Big Shark.
Yes.
People just refer to the shark as Big Shark, as it's like proper noun.
It would be as though in the movie Jaws, if Quint was like, hey everybody, there's Jaws.
Exactly. The news anchors.
Amity Beach is cleared out because Jaws is here.
Yeah, they're like, oh man, there's been big shark sightings all over New Orleans. Like, oh man, big shark has been seen, blah, blah, blah. Like, they just start calling it Big Shark.
Its name. It's Big Shark. First name Big, last name Shark.
And it's 35 feet long.
Sometimes. Sometimes it's multiple skyscrapers all and can bite the side of a bridge.
Yeah.
And
whip cars into buildings and
cars which are like 1/100th of its size in that particular scene. The only other two things I'll mention before we wrap this up completely is performance-wise, everyone is improving, everyone's doing what they can. Everyone's building. Not only is every scene in a bubble, every scene is we're building the plane as it's already in the air.
And it's crashing.
Let's talk about the amount of singing in this film.
The sexual scenes from The Room and his skeletal pasty ass have been replaced by like
musical numbers,
little ditties that we there's only two that we no three there's three that we sing throughout the film, because I forgot he has the song for Sophia when they're fishing. There's a song about them saving
New Orleans.
Chalmette, I think is what it's called. Yeah, and then there's the Cowboys Don't Cry song, which really is the magnum opus. Yeah.
Which the audience did start singing.
I mean, you have to. Like, it's a Pavlovian response after the 15th time.
Cowboys don't cry, and heroes don't die. They just sparkle in the sky, so I won't cry.
So that's number one. Number two, the multiple scenes where Tim, the second in command, God damn it, he really wants to cry.
Oh, Tim is
as an
acting
actor,
his ass off.
As an actor, he wants to cry so bad.
He's trying so hard.
And he cannot do it.
Bless him.
He just cannot do it. And it's a shame, because he's really trying hard.
He's squinting, he's rubbing his eyes.
So hard, and just cannot get it to go. Yeah. And then number three, there's a scene when a little sort of family is playing like drums on a bucket, and
we've got some street performers.
Yeah, some street performers, and the boys give them a little money, and they're dancing and having a good time. And then one of the street performers gets up and takes like 4 steps into the street, and then Big Shark shows up and eats them. And then everybody runs away scared. And Tommy, Tim, and Georgie are so distraught about this as they're driving away. And Tommy says, oh my God, he almost ate that little girl, and now she doesn't have a dad. And he goes, I could cry. Where? I could cry. That is such a weird choice to make.
There is a lot of screaming.
A lot of screaming. That's called acting.
And at inappropriate times, which is really what sets the screaming apart. Because you go, okay, if we're doing a Sharknado type movie,
sure,
there's going to be some yelling. It's a fucking Sharknado. And you go, okay, we're doing a big shark movie. There's going to be some yelling. It's a big fucking shark. But the yelling is not necessarily where you expect it to be.
And it's not from who you expect it to be. Because, yeah, you would expect, like, okay, you're doing, let's just, for the sake of argument, you're doing Jaws in a city. Okay, cool. You're going to have some scream queens in there, right? You're going to have some ladies who are like, oh my God, a shark! Ah! Like just screaming at the top of their lungs kind of thing. Like, sure, that would make sense.
Yeah, like any of the low-hanging fruit that you would expect, we don't even reach for because Tommy doesn't even know.
Right.
We're like, okay, we've got girls, we've got shark, like, we don't get, like, a wet t-shirt.
Yeah, you would expect it would be like Piranha, where it's like,
We don't get,
it's tits and ass, and it's screaming.
the water, you should
Right.
come swim with me. And then, like, the shark eats, no, we don't get that? Oh, okay.
And the reason is, we didn't improv it. It never came up as an idea.
Yeah.
The closest we get to, this is a PG-13 film, the closest we get to anything of like a sexual nature is during the quote-unquote party scene. There is like some grinding and some like almost making out.
Yeah, really uncomfortable scene of, like, 7 people, quote-unquote, partying.
At an Airbnb.
Yeah, what is very clearly an Airbnb.
Which, the fact that they didn't get a producer credit for whoever owned that Airbnb,
Oh, they
a travesty.
It's a really cute house, too.
It is. That's one, I would stay there. I would stay there and be like,
I literally had that thought. I was like, if we ever go to New Orleans with Jess and James, like, if that's one of our trips, like, we need to track down that house.
yeah, where is the Big Shark
Yeah,
house?
I don't want this celebrity tour of, like, the American Horror Story season. I want to see the Big Shark.
Where did they film Big Shark? But yeah, so just the performances and things like that. But yeah, you're right. Like the low-hanging fruit, the really like sexploitation-y thing of a shark film never comes up because it just never came up.
Well, and partly, too, because I'm sure, I don't even think that Tommy would know that that's a thing. Like, any sort of film tropes, like, I don't think he knows.
Well, yes and no. I think he knows classic stuff because like James Dean and Marlon Brando, like he knows like classic Hollywood. I don't know if he knows like 70s sleaze exploitation. I don't know. But it never comes up. Or, I don't know, maybe the actresses that they had were just like, yeah, I ain't doing that shit. Like, I'm not Lisa. Like, I don't know.
Right.
The other thing that I find interesting is that, and I'm sure this is not by Tommy's choice, there is no cashing in on The Room. Because if you knew that that was like a cultural phenomenon, wouldn't you go out of your way to put cameo appearances by everybody?
Or, like, make a reference, like a little wink. Like,
Yeah, like wouldn't you be like, oh, the actress who plays Lisa is going to be like a news anchor, or like Denny's a bartender or something. Like, don't you think you would do that to really like cash that in?
I don't know that any of them would come back.
That's my point, is I don't think that's Tommy's choice. I think it's either everyone's either A, not acting anymore and don't ask, or B, they would be like, not in a million years.
Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
And it is a shame that Greg's not in it. I will say that. My close personal friend, Greg Sestero.
I mean, homie who played Tim did put his whole Timothy into this. Like,
True, but
he's
according to
trying so
Greg,
hard.
he was supposed to play Georgie, which I find super hard to believe.
Well, I feel like
But-
if it had been him, though, it would have been a totally different character.
Probably. But just based off the movie as it is, I'm like, there's no way. But if you watch the original teaser trailer, which was made prior to anything being filmed of the movie,
Yeah.
Tim is still Tim. The same actor is Tim.
Oh, okay.
So that does back it up. But yeah, I think Georgie probably would have been a much different character. But yeah, that is a shame because I think Greg would have been interesting in it, but also would he have been like a party pooper? Like, would he have been like, this is bad?
You would hope that people close to the project would have the wherewithal to go, hey, man, maybe not a great call. You know?
You
like,
hope.
because you're trying to protect both the project and Tommy. Because if you're like, if this is so bad that it doesn't circle back around to good, like,
We're all wasting our time.
yeah, we're all wasting our time. He's gonna want to kill himself. Like, this is not gonna be good. So, like, by nature, and also you don't want to be associated with something that's just garbage. So you're like, hey, maybe, consider adding musical score to the film, or like,
Yeah.
hey, what if we did script some stuff so that everybody had like half an idea about what was going on and we don't just start screaming in the middle of a dialogue for no reason, like,
Well, 'cause
I could see that inherent, like, instinct to go like,
Right.
hey man, what if we didn't do that?
Well, because if you look at Best Friends, which was not directed by Tommy, that was directed by a third person, but it had Tommy and Greg in it.
Because it was written by Greg.
Written by Greg,
Yeah.
very true. Greg's really selling his ass off in that movie. He's really acting his fucking balls off and is trying to, like you said, is trying to protect Tommy and trying to really get a good performance out of him. And then Rick Stanton, comes along and steals the show. But point is that I think Big Shark would have ended up more in that direction. I don't think 100% that direction, because again, when you're dealing with a CGI shark, I don't think you can be like, well, let's really put a performance.
We might have gotten a payoff of the treasure map.
You would fucking think. But I think there would have been a little bit more of like a, hey, let's really try here. Let's try to focus this up and not have this be just a fucking mess.
Oh, so the one thing that did drive me not the one thing, but one of the things that I noticed this watch through that drove me insane was when they are given the map by the magical hobo, and they're like, oh yeah, no, like this is the area. When they unfold it on the beach, nobody is pointing to X marks the spot.
No.
They're not like, oh yeah, it's right here, like this is where we need to be. There's a giant red X on the fucking map. And they're pointing to, like, a complete other part of it.
Yeah, they're pointing to, like, the coastline. And they're like, okay, well, this is good. And it's like, what?
And the levee, we talk about a levee that has apparently been demolished by a hurricane. And they're like, oh, man, it's not going to hold anything. Well, why do we need the levee?
Well, you would think...
The levee doesn't come into play?
Yeah, you would think it would be like, oh, that's how the shark gets around. The waterway is broken.
Or, like, that's how water keeps appearing and disappearing on the residential streets, which is a thing that happens, obviously, when you've got a shark.
Yeah.
No, we never mentioned the levee again, and we can't tell Georgie about it.
Because he'll ruin the plan because he's too paranoid.
Too paranoid, yeah. Because the improv is so heavily and poorly improved, there are a lot of, like, throwaway things, or things that you're like, okay, we could have been leading towards something, and it just goes nowhere. It's just, everything is like a hard dead end, and you're like, I don't think that's how that's supposed to be.
Yeah, it's, again, that bubble technique of, like, there are things that accidentally come to the surface that you're like, oh, is that going somewhere? But because everything ends in a vacuum, it's just like, nah, that's not a thing. Yeah, the origin of when the shark first actually appears, although Tommy claims he sees it, when the first time the shark appears in town, we get a flashback to a boxing match in a gym.
I guess it looks like it, because it's not like a...
It's not like a... Yeah, it's not like a venue fight. It's just like in a gym. And then we kind of start with like a metaphor of like, oh, I got hit so hard, I felt like I was swimming.
And then the water just kept coming.
And you're like, oh, wow, he's like knocked out cold. Yeah. And then the shark showed up. And it's like, wait, what? And then a very crudely CGI'd shark drops into frame and eats his opponent. And that's it. That's our, like, ta-da introduction.
And then you just wake him up like, oh, man, that's crazy. You got to get up. What?
Where did the shark go?
You're not concerned that a man was just eaten alive? That you were punched in the face by a man now dead? Thank you, Frasier reference. Holy shit.
Very well done. So overall, what is your general assessment of Big Shark in the greater tapestry of cinema in 2025?
I cannot wait for it to get like an actual release.
I want to study this like the fucking Zabruta film. Like I
want to be fucking AOL with this. I want to burn it on discs. I want to leave it in people's mailboxes. I want to leave it in people's cars. Like, I just want to be like fucking Johnny Appleseed and make everybody see this. Quite the way that it was originally with The Room. Of like, you see it and you go, oh my god. And now suddenly you have to show everybody you know because this is insane. Like, I cannot wait to get a physical copy of this so that I can do that. Like, I have told my bosses about it. Like, we have told all of our friends. I'm like, you don't understand. Like, you have to see this because it's fucking insane.
It really, truly is. Like I said, it's in a weird, horrifying way. It's almost refreshing to see something so weird and so inept. It's a very similar vibe to The Room of like, how did this get made? How is this being distributed?
Well, and we've talked about it previously in terms of like the earnestness behind it. Like,
that's the secret sauce of a good bad movie.
Exactly. That it's not breaking the fourth wall, it's not tongue in cheek, it's not bad on purpose. Like, the man's really trying. And that's both terrifying and devastating and makes for great fucking art. Like, he really means it, and you're like, oh man, it's so bad, good for you, like, this is incredible.
If I can put it this way, Big Shark is like watching like an Evel Knievel jump, but Evel Knievel was sick that day, so there's just like a random guy. This level of like absolute confidence of like, oh, I got this, and just falling on his face so severely.
Yeah, just whiff it.
Because as soon as you go, well, we'll just improv the dialogue. It'll be fine. Like, we all understand what the characters are. Like, we'll just improv the dialogue. It's fine. There is a level of confidence there.
Oh, yeah.
To be like, yeah, we got it. And not, oh boy, we really don't got it. That's where that earnestness comes back. It's like, this is, because if you've ever seen any of the other Tommy projects, like when he tried doing like, sitcoms and comedies and tongue-in-cheek things, like you said, and things that are in on the joke, all just absolutely terrible to sit through. Best Friends, however, the exception because that had Greg Sestero's involvement. But like any of the Just Tommy projects are really, really tough to watch because they aren't as earnest. This, by just random happenstance of it's during COVID, Tommy is unfortunately on his own figuring this out. He decides to just improv it. It sort of comes back around full circle and gives him this platform to be earnest and be confident and fail in a completely different way than in The Room.
A new and exciting way.
Right, because if it was just The Room again, you'd be like, all right, well, whatever.
Yeah, like, okay, that's all we can do. But no, it's very, for all of the ways that it's similar, it's still a very different film.
Yeah, and it's like, instead of, oh, every scene in The Room is funny because it's Tommy the space alien, like, trying to communicate with humans who are just people. This is crazy. Instead, it's him dealing with CG. Like, how do you put on film somebody who barely understands how to act like a human being, and also it's Ian McKellen in the fucking green screen room, where it's like, oh, he has to interact with something that isn't there.
Oh, and it fucking shows.
Oh, so
man.
No, the thing that blows my mind is the amount of
the thing that's occupying your mind.
The thing that's occupying my brain is the amount of times that people are supposed to be looking at a screen or at a thing and not even close. The scene where they get out of the fire truck to put out the fire later on, which, by the way, we never see them put out that fire.
No.
They're all looking in different directions when the fire is supposed to be right at the camera.
They're just yelling at it, and then they leave, and then we go, and then we move on.
And then, like, the girl's sitting on the couch, and they're, like, watching the news story of, like, oh, my God, big shark's here. And they're like, oh, my God! And one of them is looking, like, way, almost up on the ceiling, and one of them is looking, like, to the right. And then same thing when Tim is supposed to be looking at the TV. Yeah. No one knows where the TV is in conjunction with the camera. It's so bizarre. It's so interesting. But yeah, must see with like a theater full of people, with friends. Such an experience, and something that I haven't really truly experienced in the movies in like a very, very long time.
Well, and I'm wondering if this sort of thing is the like last morsels of what could be considered exploitation. Not necessarily in the like extremist element of it, but in the sense of like something you'll never see on film.
This is true. It's exploitation in the truest form of like, this is shit that actual Hollywood is not going to put on film. For better or for worse.
Exactly. In the sense of when somebody goes, hey, you want to see something fucking weird? This is it.
Big Shark.
Big Shark.
Highly recommend. It is an absolute cinematic adventure. If possible, go see it live with Greg Sestero during his incredible U.S. tour.
And if there is a physical release, we promise we will be the absolute first ones to tell you.
Yeah, we're reporting from the ground level.
If a blank disc shows up somewhere in your home on your person, just know that it was probably... Yeah, don't ask, just watch it. It was us. It's okay.
And so thank you all so much for listening to the very first episode of the BrainBuster Video podcast. On behalf of Luna and myself, thank you to Greg. Thank you to all of our friends who came and watched Big Shark with us on both occasions. And if you would like a copy of The Room official on VHS, then you need to either find Greg Sestero when he comes to your town on his tour, and you can follow him on social media at Greg Sestero in order to find out where he's showing up next. or we will include a link to buy from Summit Pictures directly in the description of this episode. And if you want to get your hands on some sweet, confusing Big Shark merch, then you need to go to TommyWiseau.com. In addition to getting some pretty fantastic underwear, you can buy the children's book for Big Shark, the poster, all kinds of weird, wonderful stuff from TommyWiseau.com. Not a sponsor on this episode, but we literally wouldn't be able to talk about this stuff if it wasn't for him. So on behalf of everybody here, I'm Zach Romero. Thank you so much for listening to the BrainBuster Video Podcast. And until next time, continue circulating the tapes. Bye-bye.